So, in our last look at Gordon Corman's Restart, we met Chase Ambrose, a kid who woke up from a fall with absolutely no memory. But today, we are jumping into chapter 2, and this is where Chase starts to find out that there's something way, way scarier than just forgetting who you are.
I mean, let's just start with that question, because it really is the heart of this chapter. Seriously, what could possibly be worse than losing your entire life? Your friends, your family, even your own name?
Well, how about this? Finding out the person you used to be is someone you might actually hate? This right here is where the real story of Restart kicks off. It stops being about a medical issue and turns into a huge moral dilemma.
All right, let's get into it. Chapter 1 was all about Chase's confusion, just this fog inside his own head. But Chapter 2? This is all about the terrifying moment he realizes that, yeah, his mind might be a blank slate, but the world around him remembers everything.
And this is the absolute key. You see, Chase is trying to figure out who he is now, but he's basically being haunted by the ghost of his past self. A ghost that, well, everyone else can see perfectly clear. And their memories? They're about to become his very first clues.
So this whole part of the book starts to feel like a detective story. Chase is the detective, and the big mystery he's trying to solve is his own life. And naturally, he starts with the first witnesses he can find, his parents. And right away, the first clue is just, wow, this huge contrast between his mom and dad. His mother is all emotion and just so relieved he's okay. But his father, whoa, he's super serious, controlled, almost disappointed. This isn't just a simple hospital visit. It's our first hint at the different kinds of pressure Chase was dealing with.
Okay, and then you've got the accident itself. He fell off the roof. Simple enough, right? Except nobody has a clue why he was on the roof in the first place. Was he doing something helpful? Or was he being totally reckless? And that's the genius of it. Corman plants this seed of mystery, because that uncertainty, that's the clue.
It's wild. The investigation even turns inward. He starts looking at his own body and realizes he's athletic, he's strong, but he's studying himself like a complete stranger. Every single detail is just another piece of this bizarre puzzle about himself. But you know, the biggest, most important clue, it doesn't come from his family. It doesn't even come from his own body. It comes from this one brief, kind of chilling moment that just cracks the whole thing wide open and gives him the first real peek at his own reputation. A nurse recognizes him, and her reaction is just off. It's this tiny hesitation, a flicker of discomfort in her eyes. And bam, for the very first time, this horrible thought pops into Chase's head. And that's the moment the story's big question shifts from who am I to, oh no, what was I? So how does Gordon Corman, the author, build up so much suspense and tension so fast? Well, it all comes down to some really clever writing techniques. Let's kind of peek behind the curtain and break down how he does it. First off, you gotta realize the main conflict here is totally psychological. It's all happening inside Chase's mind. This isn't a story about physical survival, it's a fight for his own identity. And we, the readers, are right there with him, asking these same exact questions. Corman pulls this off with a really powerful writer's tool called indirect characterization. It's the classic rule of show, don't tell. So instead of just writing, Chase was a bad kid, he shows us through the way other people react to him. And here's exactly how it plays out with that nurse. The event is super simple. She sees him. But her reaction, that little flinch, that uncomfortable look, that tells us everything. And from that one tiny detail, we jump to a massive conclusion. This kid has a history, and it is probably not a good one. It's so subtle, but man, is it effective. And what all this does is it completely shifts the whole feel of the book. In Chapter 1, the main feeling is just confusion. It's a medical mystery. But by Chapter 2, now it's all about suspicion. The tone gets tense, uneasy, and we can really feel Chase's dread growing. This all builds up to what is, honestly, the central theme of the entire book. It's this huge conflict that's going to drive the rest of the story. This battle between your reputation and your real identity. And this is the core of it. Think of it like this. Inside his own head, Chase is a total blank slate. That's his identity right now. But his reputation, that's a story that everyone else has already read, and he's totally stuck having to deal with the consequences of things he doesn't even remember doing.
So, if you take one thing away about this chapter, it's that this is the story's major pivot point. It brilliantly shifts the main problem from I can't remember to I'm scared of what I'm going to find out when I do. It makes it crystal clear that Chase's past is a really big deal and there are absolutely going to be consequences. And that leaves us with this massive question, the one the whole book is really trying to figure out. If a person really truly changes on the inside, should they be forgiven for what their old self did? Can a reputation get a restart too? There's definitely no easy answer. And honestly, that's what makes this whole story so unforgettable.